What's going on, Space Bros? Hey guys, what's going on tonight? It is Friday, January 20th, 2017, and tonight we are going to be talking Star Citizen like we always do, and we're going to be jumping into that. Tonight's guest with me is TheAstroPub, recently partnered streamer with Test Gaming. Super awesome dude.
I didn't do it. Whatever.
You didn't do it. You didn't
do it. I didn't do it. No, I'm sorry.
We're accusing him right off the bat. What's going on, man? How are you doing tonight?
Doing good. We were talking about this before, and we'll talk about it here. But it's going to be an interesting couple of months for Star Citizen development, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Star Citizen's, for all those guys who read the production schedule and stuff, I think it's going to be a very interesting time. Let's talk about. I congratulate you obviously on your stream and stuff about the partnership. I do want to talk about that a little bit, because it's awesome. I was really anticipating, like I told you and Gamble before, that I thought you guys would have been partnered a little bit earlier on, with the numbers and stuff, but finally coming through for both you guys. I'm really happy that you guys finally locked it in, got it down and stuff. So, what's that been like? What's that roller coaster been like to surprise your partnered and all that?
It's still surreal.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like for me, and this is I know this is something that everyone goes through as a partner. Like I thought like partner was a switch. You go from being not partnered to partnered, and then partnered, you kind of you got to work from your partner, but you still have this kind of mindset. I'm like, I am still me. There's nothing that's happened that suddenly I'm a partner. I'm just me now. And I just happen to have a button, button and emotes that people like to use. And so it's still very surreal to see people like, I see this person has subscribed. Oh, and now they get emotes.
Yeah.
And someone subscribing with Twitch Prime. And now my chat is trolling me with bits and just dropping bits and then exploding them because they like to blow them up out of that cup.
It's pretty crazy. And have you gone through I was telling, he was prepared, so I got to give him that because he already had emotes like planned out and stuff. And I thought I had enough emotes too, but you're never prepared for when all of a sudden all the subs happen. Then you're like, that wasn't enough emotes. I feel like the guy who had a barbecue and didn't bring enough hot dogs or something. I'm like, oh, gonna run the store and make some more or something.
Yeah, as I say, it's like throwing that party and you're like, man, we'll get like 3 or 4 people to show up, we'll hang out, and then like 50 people show up and you're like, I did not get enough beer for you.
Yeah.
There's not enough alcohol in this house or food or entertainment. And now like everyone is having a good time and I'm an amazing host, but I'm also freaking out because I was not prepared for this. So that's the kind of feeling. It's like I had I was preparing for 4 emotes, and I had 4 emotes ready. I was like, man, 4 emotes, it's 50 subscribers. We'll probably hit that early on. But, I have time to talk to my artist, and she can whip some stuff up. And it's like, you got your 50 subscribers in the first day. I got like 70 subscribers the first day. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
I can't. Okay, so I still got some time. I got 20 subscribers, and like 2 days later, I hit 100 subscribers. I'm like, I'm done. I can't.
Absolutely. It's crazy. And this will be, and you mentioned you're going to PAX South as well. Mm-hmm. So this will be your first PAX going as a partner now. So you'll be able to go down there and flash off the partnership.
I could just be like, I'm a Twitch partner. And the one thing that I've been to a lot of these events before, and the one thing that a lot of the vendors are like is like, oh yeah, we're really interested in talking with you, you're a Twitch streamer. And then the big partners, the big vendors like the Blue Yeti, the Blue microphones, and the DX racers and stuff like that. They're like, so what's your partnership like? And you're like, I'm not partnered. They're like, that's cool. bye, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
So, but the second you flash that Twitch partnership, they're like, oh, okay,
well, wait a minute.
I care about you more, kind of thing. So it's that status symbol that it doesn't mean anything, because the difference between a non-partnered and a partnered streamer is the button.
You're helping Twitch make money.
Yeah, your Twitch, instead of the Game Wisp or whatever service you're using, taking its blood money, now Twitch is taking it. Amazon's taking its blood money.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like, it means a lot to companies.
Well, it gives you the validation, right? I mean, you feel like, it's like you've earned this not only in the eyes of your family, your stream, but you've earned this in front of the eyes of like legitimate business too now. So that's pretty cool. So hopefully you'll get a lot of good networking. Make sure to hook me up with any networking that you find because I don't get to go to that. So unfortunately, I want to sometime. But congrats again on that. That's really awesome, and I just definitely wanted to, recognize, how hard I know you've been working for it and all that. I mean, you've been pitting it to the grindstone for sure for the last several months to make that happen.
Sleep is a distant memory at this point.
Exactly.
But one of the side effects, which is a weird thing, is that I've been putting to the grindstone, but now I'll play a game and I'll look up and I'll be like, it's been 6 hours. Why has it been 6 hours? I can't believe I streamed for 6 hours. Like I've got to the point where my body has like prepared me to stream, and I'm no longer like, oh man, it's been a while, and look up, it's like, wow, it's only been an hour and a half. What the fuck is going on? But now it's like, I'm like, oh man, it's only been like an hour or two, and it's like, oh my god, I got to go to bed.
It definitely reinvigorates you and it makes you feel like, you sit down, you're playing a game. It's like, I feel like when I was younger and I used to get a new video game out, even if I'm not playing something new, and it's like time's just gone by, and it's you want to do more. And unfortunately in my case, that's why I end up streaming. You see those 13-hour streams, because me not having this is my main job. I'll be like, oh crap, did I miss dinner?
And I have partner streamer friends who've done the exact same thing. They'll start at their normal start time and they'll look at the clock and it's like, it's 6 o'clock in the morning.
Yep.
This is my job, but I just streamed. I almost did a 24-hour live stream on accident.
On accident. Yep. Absolutely.
And so I can see it. I could it's just something about, that's the one weird thing about partnership, is that you just it feels like you don't have to. You do, but you don't have to be like, I got to focus on this, I got to focus on that. Now it feels more fluid. And
have you been able to balance it okay with work so far? I mean, since you've had that down.
I was lucky in that working for a living and streaming. I'd been doing that for a while anyways.
Yeah.
And on top of that, it's the end of the semester for me. So as a result, I don't have any serious lesson plans and that kind of stuff to do. Now, next week and going forward, it's going to be more complicated because I got to start making more lesson plans and all that kind of stuff. So we'll see how that works now. But so far, it's been a good balance.
There you go. Well, we're all happy for you, and we hope that we'll be able to do some more stuff. And I've noticed you send me invites on Star Marine, but you're always sending them to me right when either I'm getting off the air or we're switching up, and we got to play together soon.
Yeah, really we do. It's usually like, I see Mitauchi's on, I'm just send him an invite. He's going to deny it, but I'm still going to send him an invite just to spam him. It's
we got so many people lined up and stuff we're trying to grind on it and whatnot. I don't know what it is about Star Marine. We were talking about this, but even in the state it's in, because it's in a total state of desync, laggy as shit sometimes by the second round, I love playing it. I don't know why. Game. It's a good game, but no other FPS would I put up with this. But for some reason, it's just, I love playing the thing. It's
because it's what we were doing with Korea.
Yeah.
But now it's fast. It's not like I gotta spawn my ship in, fly over there, eject, go down to the pad, go in, run around for 15 minutes and wait for someone to show up, and then have a 5-second firefight, and then wait another 5 to 15 minutes for the guy to come back. Now it's like you spawn. Now it's spawn, shoot, dead, spawn, shoot, dead, and it's just boom. It's that experience, but good, compressed into a small time frame. I think that's the biggest issue.
I will admit, the other day I did go back to Korea and gotten some good fights, because with the new gun mechanics from Star Marine, it feels so good in there. So I can't wait till they sync it up for Star Marine, and it'd be a lot more fun.
The one thing that a lot of people don't realize is that there is no vaulting animation. All the animations for vaulting and mantling isn't in the game yet. In PU yet, and the reason why is because the assets or the animations, one of those two hasn't actually been ported over properly yet. So I'm hoping that's one of the things we'll see in 2.6.1 and 2.6.2.
Yeah, hopefully so. Yep. So let's dive into this week, because we're talking about some of that stuff. We're going to jump right into it. real easy beginning part. They did what, Bug Smashers this week, right? That was the Wednesday episode. It's actually an issue everybody's really aware of already. The fact that the caterpillar is all wonky.
Yeah, and it's not just
stuff. Yeah.
It's not just the caterpillar either. It's also the all of the ramp systems have the same problem. I've had the problem with the freelancer. I've had that problem with the Vanguard. Like if the ramp is dropped by somebody else and you weren't around to see it, when you come back, it looks like it's closed, and then
I don't know why when they push builds, it seems like even though something's not really supposed to touch the PU, it seems like it messes up the PU more than anything else in the rest of the game. But it happens. I'm not a programmer, so I'm sure that's something on their side they know a little bit more. But so they dealt with that at Bug Smashers, but we'll see if it translates out when we get 2.6.1, because just like, hey, guess what? They fixed the gun sights, guys. Supposedly for 2.6, we've seen that hasn't happened. Yeah, that has been rallying. Whereas I'm happy because all my gun sights are fixed when I have a gun, but I don't always spawn with a gun sometimes now in Star Marine. So whatever. But I played all of 2.5 with no gun sights, so I'm kind of used to it by this point.
I don't have sights at all for Star Marine. I was lucky enough. I had to move to the light armors because the medium armors I have no controller of the EVA, no heals, no HUD, anything. God. So it's like I got to use the light armor, so I only have one grenade. But at least I have 2 heal packs, and I can shoot.
Yeah,
I don't have a iron sights, but I can actually shoot.
I think we've only been in 1 or 2 games I've seen it when we were on opposing sides or anything, and it's like you're hard as hell to hit in that light armor, just all over the place. It's like I do like the mechanics of the speed differences they have between the medium and the light. There is some significant differences there that are pretty cool, and I like that a lot. But the other aspects of the Bug Smashers, that's about all they did there. And then they went into the ATV, which I will admit was good. I didn't care for it, though. It wasn't anything I was interested in. It wasn't a bad episode. Just, that's awesome.
It was, the way I described it is that it's a recap episode. Have you ever watched like an old TV show where like they're recapping the season and they cut some new footage in because it's them talking about they're like, oh, do you remember when this happened? Oh yeah, I remember when this happened. And then it cuts back and recaps like the entire season. It's not necessarily a bad thing, but when you buy that on DVD, you skip that episode because it doesn't tell you shit. Or you watch like the
aware.
5.
Yeah. It's like a Walking Dead marathon leading up to like what you already know has happened in Walking Dead, but it's like you're ready to watch the next stuff, so it's all good.
Yeah, just moving on kind of thing. And so it wasn't bad. It would have been an interesting. It would have been an interesting addition to like a making of documentary.
Yeah,
but I personally look at ATV for the future content, not let's look at what we did in the past, because they did this also with CitizenCon. They did the same thing with CitizenCon, where they spent like 3 weeks talking about how they made CitizenCon and everything else like that.
Yeah,
that was a little bit more interesting because it was actually new content.
Yeah, and they also addressed some of the issues they had with CitizenCon and the development, and that was interesting to me because that was more of a behind the scenes, like you said. It was over old subject matter, but it was new content. So that alone, I thought was pretty good. So again, it was one of those things where again it was done correctly. It just wasn't something we cared about.
Yeah,
but
I mean, the first 5 minutes were stuff we cared about, like the new customizable heads. That was pretty cool. That was cool. And it was a lot further than I thought that they would have had. But so it looks like they actually have some of those things. My hope is hopefully some of that we'll see that in the next 2 patches if we see them, or possibly in the we have no idea if it exists or not 2.7 patch, which may or may not exist, but we don't know because there is no confirmation and no denial and anything else like that. So,
yeah, absolutely.
Except for one, which could be a mistake and slip of the tongue because of lots of things. So
they did talk about this, and we put the image up here. They have the Buccaneer white box now, supposedly. So that's cool. I mean, they're making progress on the ships. They still have to do the cockpit area, but they've at least figured out that mystery leg thing they were talking about in the front end. So, but oddly enough, even though they said they solved it, I noticed they didn't show what the solution was, right? Because they had that bottom gun. They just showed this top angle on the ship, and I was like, okay, so what was the solution for their guns? I wonder if it's going to end up being that they remove the bottom gun altogether.
Possibly. My theory is that what they'll do is they'll just extend the gun. So
put it off the cockpit or the nose or somewhere down below.
or like where it is now, but where like when you take off and you go out of like landing mode, it'll just descend, down like you see with like the Mustang, and then you can use it like that. And then when you go into landing mode, it pops back up, just like how the Hornet wings retract. So if you're in landing mode, you can't really use the wing guns. So I mean, kind of similar kind of thing.
Absolutely. But yeah, that's really all I saw for the ATV part. Now, the more interesting part, I hope they give us, like, the one thing I saw in the pirate thing was I was really interested in the skins they have on the ships, like all those red ones they have from the pirate swarm, because they have the red highlighted skins and stuff for the Gladius and all the gladiators and the Hornets and all that stuff inside that. I would love to buy those skins as cosmetic items right now today, because we know they have them, and I would pay cash for that. That would be fine. That would be great, and it'd be a great way to finance a game. I don't know why they don't do that, but
I think the reason why is because it was made with the paint system. I think that's the big thing, is that and that's the paint system that it may or may not come out with soon. And that's the one thing that confuses me. It's like we've seen the paint system, we've seen it in action, we've seen you use it.
Yeah.
Where is it?
I don't know. It's like, if you have all this stuff, I mean, unless it's just intricate into some other module or something we don't know about, I don't know why they don't just deploy it. I mean,
I'm assuming it has something to do with item 2.0, like because item 2.0 isn't ready yet, and item 2.0 has to deal with the like almost every aspect of the ship. I'm sure it's like with the skins now work with item 2.0, which is great, but we need item 2.0 to be finished before we can do that. So
yeah, quite possibly. I mean, that could be the fact. But then they also just dove into a little bit of this and that. We've been waiting for the production schedule. And there's two things that we really need to, talk about specifically. One regarding the entire production schedule, but the RTVs. I want to know what your take is, since they eliminated RTV and now they have the happy hour. Do you like the happy hour better, or do you like the old RTV set better?
I think, honestly, I like the happy hour better, but only because of this. They've taken the off-the-cuff, informal attitude of old RTV, and they've combined it with the more professional new RTV. The problem is that with RTV, we got a lot more information over a long period of time. Now they seem to have this pattern where they bring in their special guests. They have the special guests plug their stuff. They play a little bit of the gameplay, then they bring in their Q&A person, and then for the last third of the of it, like the last 20 or so minutes, they do some Q&A. Whereas before it was like 20 minutes of introduction and exposition, and then like 40 minutes of question and answer. So it felt like you had more time with the actual guys on screen and more of a chance for them to just, I hate to say this, but screw up and say something they're not supposed to on screen.
Sure, we love leaks. I mean, let's be honest, we're human. We love it when they leak out stuff. We're
content creaters. CIG, please.
Yeah, come on, guys, feed us a bone here. You're talking about it's not coming out for a while now. So, but no, I agree. I like the new format a lot. I think it gives them a lot more natural settings since they're playing a game. They're employing a streamer to come in there and play with them. And the best thing is, Disco is so distracted by playing the game, he can't censor whoever the person is as the guest. Because usually he's like, don't ask the questions. It's like, and Sean Tracy's just reading questions himself. And I love it. I thought it was so good.
I love his comment, which literally immediately went to Reddit, which was 3.0 is canceled. And then you could physically see both Tyler and Xylo, or Tyler and Jared, Xylo and Disco, like, tell him you're joking, tell him you're joking, tell him you're joking, please.
Because that was clipped right there, and he's like, nope, it's canceled, and it's just gonna be a loop gif now somewhere. Yeah. It's like, that's it. It's like, oh, it's canceled, guys, F it, whatever. Like, no. So good. I love that. Sean Tracy trolling them right there, the community team. No, but I love the format with that. I love the off-the-cuff setting. Last week's was wonderful, too. I mean, really good integration there. And I feel like they answer a lot more questions. I mean, even though in the old RTV, they might have each of these devs and stuff for a larger period of time, the whole first section, if you notice, was all like internal questions. Like, I'm going to interview you. Disco's going to interview you and ask our questions back and forth. And this one, they get an interface back with the chat a lot more, and I like that a lot. And I was surprised because I was ready to like shit can it right off the bat. Like the minute they said there were going to be a play with me, I was like, oh, they'll talk about a filler episode, and then they surprised me like, oh, here's Todd Pappy. I'm like, oh well, shit, this is okay.
Yeah, now we're not always going to get a Todd Pappy or a Sean Tracy.
No.
Some of these, like probably if I ever go on that, it'll be like, this is Paul Shelley. We're going to bring out our fourth string production artist and our janitor, and they're going to be answering your questions.
That's what I was going to say.
You know?
I'm very interested in what secrets lurk in the janitorial staff there, because we know all about the lighting guys. I know every person in the lighting team 5 times over now.
Tell me what your moonshine recipe is. I'd like to know this for future reference, because we know you have a still in there.
Is there anything that lurks in the dark we can use against like the team in order to get more information? Tell me. Information. You're the janitor. You know all.
You have the keys. You have the power. You know.
Yeah. So you'll get creepers in chat. Can I have Chris Roberts' trash, please? You know. Like, no. Let's not do this, guys.
It's not how you talk about Clifford. Okay. We all know that he has his little Chris Roberts shrine in the closet. But you know.
I'm surprised he hasn't built an outbuilding for it. Like now, it's like there's a whole shed.
He is building a new house, though, so it may be in that house.
You'll have some, like, you pull, like, a candlestick on the fireplace, and the bat cave opens up, dedicated to Chris Roberts.
Chris Roberts.
You never know. It could go that way. But, no, the happy hours have been really good. A lot of good information coming down the pipe there. I think that, just to highlight some of that, I had a couple. Where's my sheet?
The big one that I remember was they confirmed Delta patching is going to be coming soon, which is the big one. And they use the word Delta patching, which is different from what they've been saying before. Mm-hmm. So it is. And for those of you guys who don't know what a Delta patching is the symbol for change in science. So when they use Delta, it means that you can change things without having to download the entire patch,
which is awesome. Because it's I always refer to it, they call it Delta, I call it an incremental patch, because you're basically adding on the portions of the current build that you don't have, rather than those guys. Like I have many friends that can't play the game because they either live in countries where they can't download 30 gigs every time, guys. Sorry, it just ain't going to happen.
And if you're in the Evocod or the PTU, you're downloading like literally the game 15 times, and it's like it's run. Now that almost everyone in the United States has some kind of data cap, even if it is a terabyte. Like I ran over my terabyte information because of Evocati and PTU. It was just like it was released right at the beginning of my bill cycle for my ISP, and then streaming and that combined created like a massive chunk of time where I'm like, I'm just ruining my bandwidth.
Yeah, everything. So, I've ruined everything now. So hopefully don't get like extra charge for that. That gets really bad. I've had it run over. The kids both, for Christmas we got them cell phones that are disabled. They're 5 and 7 year old, and they just watch YouTube videos like crazy. And they sold us on a plan because my wife ungrandfathered us, which I was like, don't do that, because we had unlimited data before. She's like, well, we got 40 gigs. Looked at the bill. The kids use 30 gigs within the first 2 weeks of the month. I'm like, it's like, you can't do that. Don't do it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it gets bad real quick. But no, they talked about several things concerning everything from the Delta patching. Also had, I had Relay's post. Relay, you do such a good job, but you hide it inside the thing now. I just clicked it closed time.
Yeah,
There's Delta patching.
They talked about customizations, like the way he was talking about customization sounded like much sooner than we think. Like maybe one of these incremental patches that they're planning on between 3.0 or even 3.0.
And I think that's one of the deceptive things, though. It's not deceptive on their part as in, hey, we're doing something shady. It's more about the aspect that they one team will be done with something there at CIG. And so they're ready to go. They're like this. And we can reflect this in the production schedule when we get to it next. But one team will be done. They'll be like, oh, yeah, that's good to go. But the problem is the rest of the build that they're planning might still be about 5 to 6 weeks away. So where it's ready to go on this end, we hear that. But as Sean Tracy said in the holiday happy hour, or I keep calling it the holiday, but the happy hour episode, he says they were talking about, and we'll have this production schedule out today, Disco said. And Sean's like, can I get a copy? Because literally they don't know what's going on because they have the whole team still finishing their summit, trying to get everything together. And then Sean Tracy also let it leak out that HR apparently was having them all do their employee reviews at the same time as trying to get it finished the summit and all this stuff. Because it's like, yeah, so they don't have enough to do already. So,
oh my God.
Thanks, HR, for delaying Star Citizen, bros.
God damn it!
Yeah.
I have said this for a while, and this is the case. It's been the case since 2013. Is that there are 4 months of the year in which CIG is pretty much dead, and not dead in terms of production. They're dead in terms of release. It's January, June, July, and August. Is the 4 months of the year that they have really big problems. January because they come back from break. They're still frazzled because they're coming back from break, and so they have to re-gear, and then they've got to do all of these meetings, and then they have to replay. So unless it's the stuff that's like was almost done right before they left, they can't really work on it. And they can work on stuff that's like in the distant future, but they can't work on the stuff that needs to get done and the stuff that needs to get down right then. They can't work on the stuff in between there.
And then on top of all that, sprinkle a little bit of, hey, Chris Roberts came up with these ideas while he was on holiday break, on top of all the other stuff that they walked away from. So it's like, I'm sure that minds are blown. I can't even imagine the amount of pressure that they're under right now. And it's not to placate them or give them an excuse, because I really want them to perform and get this stuff out to us. I mean, we've been waiting a while and all that, and I understand all the caveats. But, I mean, I think as far as a community, we are very patient. There can be no argument about that. We're very patient people.
I think we as a community have been patient, and I think the community in general is also very much at this point like, listen, we've been here for 4 years. Yes. We understand. We're not asking for the game to be out. No. We're just asking to do something other than murder each other for the last 2 years or
and if
3 years.
We have to murder each other at least for the next few months, could you please make it synced up so we could actually murder each other? And not like watching one of my mods like skid across the floor like it's freaking on ice, and then do a shoot one direction and hit me 4 feet away, on the other side. Or I run around and kill 6 people, and then I died from somebody 6 minutes ago because that happened. Apparently, it's like time is no essence inside this. So they also talked about the mega map, and I thought Sean gave a pretty good definition of what the mega map is, because I've heard all kinds of different explanations what mega map was, and I honestly walked away as no clue, because I was thinking, well, it's the whole universe, right? It's the whole solar system rather that they're supposed to put. That's the mega map, and he's like, no. He's like, he basically defined and said there's nothing about the mega map, that there's nothing mega about the map. It's a very tiny map. He says, but what makes it awesome is it does every other map. And I was like, what does that fucking mean, Sean Tracy? He said, with Lumberyard, it has a concept of levels and stages. There's a preload section that happens, say like a 4x4 map, and etc. That's gone as now they have a tiny map, and they stream in everything to you. So basically, they only have to render a smaller field, and this is where it goes into the LODs and all the view distances and all that stuff. So this is all that exists as long as they're. So they're only streaming to your client this. So they have that tech done, basically, and so fucking
and
awesome.
This is not a brand new fandangled out of the box like invention either. WoW had this in vanilla WoW, because the idea was that they actually hid the raid instances and the dungeon instances inside the actual full MMO map. You just couldn't get to them because you had to they were in special places where you couldn't go. And there was actually at one point where you could actually clip through the map and actually see one of the instances, the full instance. You couldn't interact with it. It had no NPCs there or anything else like that, but you could see it. And the reason why was because when you loaded into that instance, all you had to load in was the NPCs and whatever information that needed to get loaded in, because you had already preloaded all of the information beforehand. So that's the idea, is that it makes it so that when we load in Star Marine or Arena Commander, we load in Star Marine and it's an instant boom, you're in a match. Not a let's wait, let's see this damn Starfarer being escorted by Gladiuses for the 400th time and wait for it to load in. And now it's just like you hit a button, you hit matchmaking, and it goes loading. You're in the match, kind of thing. So
the main only differences between the tech of what something like WoW would have in this is obviously the different assets and them bringing them all to the 2.0 standard. and the fidelity of what they have.
Yeah,
You know,
I say it doesn't look like a potato.
It doesn't look like a potato, correct? So it's a little bit more graphically than what most people, expect.
And instead of the potato looking like a cube, now it looks like a potato. It's the sexiest potato you've ever seen, kind of thing.
You can feel the texture of the potato. Absolutely. Another important aspect that was asked for him was about, and something that I think we've discussed even on the captain's table before, was the cargo weight and if it was going to have an impact on the ships and stuff. And basically, he said that it was more of a design question because all the mechanics to do that are in there. Right now, it will. And he even pointed out the fact that if we were missing weapons on one part of our ship, we don't notice it because it's so marginal, but your ship flies differently right now. So it already does that. So the mass does have a variant and ability on the ship. And I was like, that's so fucking cool that that's already happening.
In fact, I remember a couple patches ago when they first added that, people would rip the wings off of the M50, and you could see their speed go from like 1,000 meters per second or whatever it was at the time to like twice that. Because you could remove parts of your ship and you would suddenly go faster because you still had your engines and you had less weight. So now it's a little bit more subtle, but it still exists, which is cool.
Yeah, that'd be crazy. Start to rip all the panels off your ship and like just make it a frame and motor and just go for it. See how fast you can get there.
Old school go-kart racing.
There you go.
Yeah.
Super dangerous, but awesome as always. They also talked about with Mega Map, it's going to put them closer to the technology that they need for the hangars, your actual physical hangar, to actually open up into the universe. They're just trying to figure out how they're going to obfuscate that, not provide a loaded screen, but kind of stream that in and still provide that for thousands of players simultaneously, because that's essentially what you're doing. But
can you imagine Terra or Earth where people are taking off and it's literally like 4,000 people at every given moment taking off from that planet?
Nest, right? There's just stuff like constantly moving around. Like, what is that? Oh, that's all the ships.
Yeah, like those scenes from these prequels in Star Wars, where like you saw all of these ships coming through Coruscant. I'm like, that would look like a light traffic day compared to like Terra when you see all of these ships flying out.
Absolutely. It's crazy sauce. Planetside racing was asked about, where players. But Sean wants players to be able to create their own tracks as his dream for it, and do stuff like that on the planet side and kind of do an emergent. That would be amazing.
Oh, please. I mean, because one of the ideas that I've heard floated was like to take caterpillars and use the bay doors as checkpoints so that people could fly their dragonflies through the caterpillar bay doors
amazing.
And stuff. So
that'd be so cool. That'd be really fun. Now,
CIG, please give us a racing component, or what do they call them? Modules for the caterpillars, racing modules, so we can fly through them.
That'd be cool. Or even rings on the ground, like you could anchor and then do that too. Like all sorts of cool stuff you could do with that stuff. So, yeah, that's really what they went into there. And then they started going more into times and plants and stuff like that with the 2.0, item 2.0, and how it makes it in 3.0. He says the item 2.0 changes how before there were items with entities that were tied to a specific thing. Item 2.0 makes it so everything is an item essentially, and an itemized component system that allows you to configure things and how you want. This weapon holster, this shirt, these pants, this grenade belt, etc. So they're all individual items instead of being associated assets that couldn't permeate or exist without the other piece there.
Yeah,
because that's how they were tied previously.
It's essentially like how right now, if you wear a suit or a piece of armor, that's a piece of armor. It's like the whole armor. But with item 2.0, that armor isn't just the outlaw medium armor. It's now outlaw medium armor set number 4,366.
Yeah, so
now,
it's specific to that one.
And you own that number. And so if anything happens to that number, then they can change the values, and like that adds things like degradation. It means your ships can get damaged and you can repair them. Yeah. And that damage will persist over saves and stuff like that. So that's what it's a big way of saying our shit is now our shit and not just generic shit in the in the universe. So
yep, that's really exciting because it opens the door for so many more mechanics to come in rather quickly. And I think they kind of have to have that in for cargo too. That's just kind of one of those things if you want to have those individual, not just canned, placeholder assets and stuff like that. So that's going to be really cool. other than that, I mean, really, that was all that went down for the overall show. We did have a tangent where Sean went off on a complete tangent talking about how his dream is to go back and make the Mech Warrior game or something like that. Or,
I have heard him talk about this before when he first
this
got hired
is like
on
the
CIG.
third time I've heard him say something about that.
And I've actually talked with him about this in the past. One of the things was that he wants to go back and actually make MechWarrior Living Legends an actual game. And this is not Star Citizen related, but
yeah,
I want him to, because right now MechWarrior Online is a good game. It's okay, but I think if you had CIG, please buy the goddamn IP. Please buy the IP, CIG. I will play a CIG made MechWarrior game. I'm just really saying, awesome. Like, you know, after Star Citizen's released and they're looking for doing something else. MechWarrior, you know, with the Star Citizen engine, imagine like a planet where you're playing MechWarrior on a planet. You know, that's
just a whole nother universe like that with this type of expansiveness stuff for MechWarrior would be amazing. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I couldn't even fathom that.
But I'm hoping that he gets the chance to do that, because that's one of those things. It's like it's a universe that, as a science fiction fan, has been kind of neglected for the last.
It has, or it's been done wrong. You know, like somebody's just phoned it in. They got some people to put the assets in, and it didn't feel good at all.
Yeah.
And that's honestly why I can't remember the last MechWarrior game I played, but it was back when you actually used to get a stack of discs, and that back when it was actually good. And it had stuff, but now with the new tech and everything after that was like whatever. That's when I actually bought my first joystick, was when there was actually real MechWarrior stuff where you could
where like when you looked in the cockpit, your mech was actually being flown by like like controlled with a throttle and stick, you know, to figure out how to do it.
And you could like come out of it, you know, and get in it and do all that stuff, and not just some like console. Here's your mech, you know. I'm like, it's no good, you know. Yeah, you can buy different guns, but it's like there's one best gun in every situation. There's one best missile, and you're done with that. And how do you make money? You do the mission sets, or you do some stupid, really bad PvP that doesn't sync up except for you and two other people, and it's like, really bad. But enough MechWarrior stuff. Anyway, the final bit that we've gotten this week, and probably the thing that we've all been waiting for, the production schedule that we were hoping for last week, and then we got it this week, and we got a little bit of an explanation, you know, and it's explanation that I kind of anticipated, where it was like, oh, you know, we're back from vacation, we're kind of waiting, we had we're still syncing up our teams and all this stuff, but no 3.0 on there, and I was just kind of like, because I wasn't looking for exact dates, but I was thinking, okay, we'll get like the 2.
What's the progress? Yeah.
Like
a 2.6.1 and 2.6.2.
And then just like another bar that just showed out like 3.0, and it's just kind of like to be determined, whatever, you know, like midsummer or whatever.
What's done, what's not done, and that kind of stuff.
How's it even broken out? I was wanting just a bullet point of how it's broken out, like as far as, because they have mentioned. And I want somebody to do this, and I know you're a content creator, somebody who has a lot more time than me will do this. I want them to go back for the last 6 months and write down everything they've mentioned that will be in 3.0 and put a list, because it is fucking insane. Like everything, and passing conversations, they'll talk about stuff on the air, and we'll just be like, "Oh, that's 3.0." I'm like,
here's my generic list that I can list off from the top of my head. Character customization.
Yes.
The female character model.
Yes.
Cargo. Piracy.
Bounty
landing on planets. Bounty hunting. The landing zones. All the landing zones in game. Every single planet and moon in the Stanton system, as well as Levski, which is not in the Stanton system, but it's being put in there. Procedurally generated missions. Custom missions you have to acquire, the net code, the item system 2.0, 2.0, and the Caterpillar, which is already out. Those are supposed to be released with that, and then the Dragonfly and the constellation Aquila.
Yes.
So that's what I can list off the top of my head. There may be more stuff in there.
So much more that I can't even think of. I mean, there's just like, I don't know.
Like at this point, I wouldn't. And I completely forgot. New weapons, new handheld weapons. We've got plus. And ships are going to be able to be purchasable in game at 3.0. That's what
supposedly.
Supposedly, I'm not banking on it, but you know, it's one of those things that like it was mentioned that they're looking at it, and if they mention that they're looking at it, it's we want to, but if it's one of those things that if we're coming to like August or September and we're like, we kind of haven't had a patch in 4 months, and when you get 3.0 out, they'd be like, we'll cut that, but later, you know, kind of thing.
Even buying ships. If we can buy the weapons for the ships. Like that with Dumpers Depot, because they mentioned that too. Like, oh, Dumpers Depot come in 3.0. I'm like, dude, there's no way. You're talking about all these different things come 3.0. Then 3.0 just won't even happen till fall at the earliest. Because, I mean, you're talking about the equivalency of what you put in there for the equivalency of like 2 or 3 builds worth of stuff. Oh, it's in 3.0. That just doesn't, it's just too much.
No. I honestly think what probably is going to happen is a lot of the stuff that we'd like to see in 3.0 is not going to end up in there. I would hope, and this is a big hope on my part, is that we won't see we'll see 3.0 at the latest in June or July, because the one problem this community has is that when we go through summers without releases, we go a little crazy. It's like we
get a little grumpy.
Yeah, it's like the Shining, you know, instead of being like stuck in a cabin or in a massive hotel in the middle of winter, we're stuck with all of this free time and vacation days and nothing to do. Yep. So we kind of get angry because we can't play games or something like that.
And as content creators tend to get salty too. It's like, oh,
well, you know, a lot of people don't realize is that YouTube and Twitch, they have this thing that during the summer, it sucks. We lose people seeing. You lose subscribers, you lose followers, you lose viewers, and your numbers are cut in half, if not worse. And so for a lot of people, summers are like you ride through the summer and you hope for good times in the fall and in the spring. So as content creators, anything we can get during the summer to help build hype, we will take.
Absolutely.
You know?
Absolutely. No, but yeah, and then all it is waiting for, even if you don't have new stuff, you wait for the events at least you can go to and then talk about that. But summertime's like dry spell as hell. Yeah. But what they did say is like, okay, we're going to show you the 2.6.1 schedule. And on top of that, they mentioned in here, there's a 2.6.2. And I'm like,
now here's my thought. 2.6.2 is probably going to drop a lot faster because these iterative patches seems to be a lot faster than the but they've also been talking about stuff. You know, we've seen devs going around in Twitch chats and in other places and saying, what would you like to see that we haven't added yet that are like minor fixes or minor updates? I've seen this in Torque's chat. They've come to my chat and asked it. They've gone to WTF's chat. I don't know if they've been come to you.
No, they won't come here because they asked that shit. We'll kick them out. No, but they know what we want. I mean, Xylo comes over and hangs out. He plays some of the shooters with us, but I mean, really, yeah.
So I'm wondering if there's not going to actually be an actual solid patch between 2.6 and 3.0. I really hope not. I really hope not. But there should be, but there could be. Like there
the question I have is there something wrong with 3.0 that they're going to have to fill in with extra patches? Because we expected 2.6.1 to be a very quick patch, to be an iterative patch for latency, some of the other aspects.
And to be fair, it is. It's coming out like
you know, we have to put it in perspective because we just came off the holiday. We did have a couple weeks of downtime in between there. Yeah. But you know, like I mentioned before, we didn't really have a solid ATV. Except on December 8th. And then we went through the holiday live stream debacle, which wasn't really satisfying. It had good info in it. It was just presented in a kind of different way.
It was just a shit show.
Yeah, exactly. But if you
it was a clusterfuck.
If you look at all the VODs that they did leave up of all the sections of information, they had good stuff. They just presented it terribly. And then they come in, and so our first real ATV we're hoping for ends up being a special broadcast, which inherently was really nice. The Van Duel language and all that stuff was really cool. It's just I think a lot of us came off the holiday expecting some meat and potatoes production schedule and not a filler. And now we feel like we got fed another little bit of a filler. And now that slowly the part of the curtain has revealed that we might not get this till mid-February. And
I mean, like it'll probably slip because it's CIG. It'll probably slip a week or two from beyond this date. But at the end of the day, the like I said before, you have to take into account that Januaries are their reorganization days.
Yes.
And because it's a reorganization and it's pretty much a lost month, that's probably the reason why HR is like, it's time to do our employee reviews because we know you're not doing anything else because you're all at summits.
There was some hopeful things mentioned, though, with them saying that they're going to try to go a lot more meat and potatoes and deeper dives on the ATVs and stuff moving forward. So hopefully we'll see more of like, this is coming in 3.0 because there's so much happening in 3.0. There's no way they wouldn't have stuff to show us on that unless they're just out the window behind on it.
And what I think it is that it's not necessarily that they're behind on it. It's that they haven't done the survey. They have all these little things that are being worked on, and they may be in different versions of being done, but they haven't sat down and said, okay, let's take everything we want to put in 3.0 and let's see where it's at. I don't think they've done that yet. I think that's what they've been doing this January. It's like, okay, let's see what we've done and how close we are to getting to 3.0. And then we'll see how close we are to getting Squadron 42. But they first did that with 2.6.1 and 2.6.2 because that they wanted to get that, because that's the immediate need right now. We need to fix that. And then now they're in that process of doing that. That's what I'm hoping, and what I'm thinking, considering how I've seen how CIG works in the past. So if that's the case, the reason why they haven't released a production schedule is because they don't know what it's like. And so who knows? They could come out in a week or two and just be like, it's coming out in April. Yeah. I would believe that because it takes them a long time to actually go through and review
I don't think we'll see
process.
Squadron 42 until.
Oh no, that's what I have a bet with Darsh Nader. I made a very public, very expensive bet that Squadron 42 is going to slip to 2018, and I don't think it's a problem. I think if 3.0 releases and within the next couple of months, and then 3.1 and 3.2 come out, and maybe 3.3, probably not, but in the furthering months, we won't give a shit. If Star Citizen's actually is actually getting progress, then Squadron 42 is nice, but it's like Star Marine. You don't need to have Star Marine if we have progress for other things, because we didn't necessarily back Star Marine. We backed everything else.
Yeah, so, and I don't disagree with you about 2018 necessarily, but I think that'd be really bad. Really bad.
I think it would be bad, but I think it would be worse if 3.0 were to be released after the summer than Squadron 42 slipping to 2018. But
yeah, I don't know.
We're more likely to see 3.0 than Squadron 42. So
well, I hope so. I care more about 3.0 than I do Squadron 42, to be honest with you. I mean, Squadron 42 for me, I really want to play it. It's going to be a great single player game, but again, it'll be one of those games that has a finite number of plays I want to play it. Right, I might play it once or 20 times even, just because it's awesome and it's fun and all that stuff. But in the day, the persistent universe is the only thing I plan on playing for years to come. So that's really what we have to get right and get in there. I would be a little more aggressive and hope that we'd have Squadron 42 by Gamescom or CitizenCon, or maybe some big production commercial for it or something like that.
That's
even
all
if they're
they
going to go
need.
that. Yeah. So they need something.
Yeah, because they've had nothing for 2 years. And I do think that if they're going to release it this year, we'll know by CitizenCon.
Oh yeah.
So, and that's the big key is if then CIG is not subtle when they're going to do something like a release.
Yeah,
they hit you with a baseball bat, and when they were like with this production schedule, we now know that they're shooting for February 16th.
That's the aim date. Now, if you notice, all these things complete before then, but we all know that it usually gets pushed back towards the end.
And if you look at it, it seems like next week they're gonna have everything they were looking to fix fixed. I think this is a case where, like you were saying, they got in a meeting, and then they go, "Okay, everybody's on target," and then UI's like, "Yeah, we ain't even close, bro." We ain't even close.
And that's the blue bar. It's like, "Oh, we're pushing this shit into February." So everybody else thought, "Well, we'll be here by the end of the month. Everybody be happy," and then we're like, oh no.
Yeah. Well, and the advantage is that the guys who are working on the networking and content and ship balance and improvements in Star Marine can start working on stuff for 3.0. They don't have to give a shit about 2.6 because their work is done. They're moving on to 2.6
until the UI breaks their stuff, and then it's
and then they have to fix it. But
then they'll be back down to that. But yeah.
But honestly, I think the biggest reason why that UI bar is so far along is, have you seen the ships? Half of them are missing their entire HUDs. Yes. 2 ships have it. The Gladius
crashed
and
more in the PU now as a whole than I ever have until all the way before the 2.5 build was released. I have crashed a lot in the persistent universe. And the HUDs are missing. I had the steering column missing. There's this like stuff happening that's like
you can't actually see your freaking MFDs anymore, and you're half So it's obvious that they released 2.6 because they were just like, we just need to get it out before the holidays.
I think if they didn't put it out before the holidays, I think there would have been a riot. There would have been like an internet riot. So they needed to. But going through the quick list of items here, a little thing stands out for me, and even if I'm not credited for it, I'm going to take credit, because when Todd Pappy was on the happy hour,
he answered your question.
He answered my question, and right here in the main menu it says players are now allowed to enter the game as pure spectator. Is what's scheduled on this, and I'm like, oh yeah, baby.
That's all we need. Like,
I wanted that so bad. As content creators, we can host matches now. We can do those things. People can join the Star League. Subtle hint: make your fucking teams now and get in it.
I was gonna say one of the guys who I follow, one of my streaming, the guys I look up to for streaming, is his name is. Now I'm forgetting his name. It's
a really big moment in my life. I don't know
because I always confuse his name with Whitwix, and it's not Whitwix. It's what do I always say? Whitwix. Warwich TV.
Okay,
that's why. Warwich. And one of the things he does for Overwatch is he actually hosts, because he used to be a professional esports caster, and now he's a streamer. But he still hosts Overwatch tournaments that he shoutcasts, and same with Trainsy TV, another friend of mine who does the same thing for Network Warrior Online. So, like, it's not just for for professional leagues, but like, hey, if I'm running a tournament, I want to broadcast that, I need this tool. Otherwise, there's no point. Like,
I'm thinking the playthrough capabilities and the demo videos you can make, and all the other stuff by having those type of things.
Oh yeah,
it's perfect. So, and by the way, you will be one of the commentators on the Star League whenever you want to come on there and do that. So for sure, it's going to be good.
Okay, I'll get my radio voice.
Yes, yes. Team Red now going for he's been stopped. Yeah, it'd be good. It'd be really good, man. So, because I did have Board Gamer lined up for that, but we see that reliability going down the tubes. Love you, Board. Love you, buddy.
We love you, Board. We love you, Board, but you're not reliable.
We love you more when you show up, bro. But yeah, so yeah, one of those things. But yeah, definitely. We're trying to get some more teams for the Star League, because we're doing a little preseason tournament, or league, where it's a round robin. So it's just teams of 6 or more. So anybody interested, you can sign up. Just type ! league in chat, or look down there. I've got a whole thing set up. We're going to be using the same tournament website that Blizzard and everybody else uses too. It's really cool. So it's neat stuff. But I'm super pumped about the fact we'll have that join as pure spectator mode in there, and that's going to be really good. So we can commentate and do all that. Other big thing on that same section: players in a party will now be returned to the lobby as a group,
which they said they promised us in the first place with 2.6, which was.
I don't know what happened. I agree with you 100% that they just had to get it out the door, because, I mean, why they wouldn't even use the same invite system as we have in Arena Commander and the PU and everything else, because you can at least have a chance there to get in. But now you'll be able to constantly get back into the main menu systems and stuff as a group, and that's going to be really awesome for all the builds. So, and now my buddies are all happy about the thrown grenade impacts now have audio. So not only does it beep a little bit, it's so quiet in your hand anyway, but now when it hits the ground, it makes a noise. It goes thump, 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 thump. Yeah, so you'll actually know it's there.
I'm looking forward to the bug where when you throw it, it doesn't go thump 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 thump. It goes boom 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 boom, as it sounds like a freaking like someone's taking a rock and bashing it against a trash can. Like what? That's the grenade. That's the grenade. It's big.
Absolutely.
It's just like kind of teetering around the floor.
A couple other highlights on here. They're going to put all Auroras now have size 2 missile racks. That's going to be interesting. So you're going to have some pretty deadly Auroras out there, guys. We're watch out for that shit. And for some reason, they decided they're going to add some grenade indicators. I saw in there too, like some actual indicator lights. And I have mixed feelings about that. That's the one thing I don't think they need, because I mean, we already got the little beast. We got the thump 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 on the ground. I don't need a big highlight, because to be honest, right now grenades are pretty awesome. I like them exactly like they are.
Because they can be a nice stealth kill because you toss them and no one sees them. You come around the corner and boom, it explodes. I've seen
and
that.
if you play enough, you recognize when the arm goes up, a grenade's coming your way. You can just, players get better. They don't need handicaps and training wheels to do everything. And I think this is one of the areas they should not mess with. But
and I think one of the things that with Todd Pappy and those guys have kind of indicated is they want to have more of a professional mode for it. So it'd be nice to have a ranked. I'm gonna pull another friend of mine, Noobifier's idea out of the sky because he just did a video on this and say we need to have a professional ranked match of some kind, which is different from what we see here. So we have the HUD and the radar and all that kind of stuff. The professionals probably no indicators, no radar HUD, so it's a little bit more difficult. Only one spawn, that kind of stuff. So it would change up the dynamics, but it would also make it so that if anyone wants to learn the game, they can go into the big hopper of
how about pistols only and those things. There are different things where you could check boxes when you host or make a private match, and you could just set up the match dynamics the way you want to a certain degree. I mean, shit, they only give me pistols half the matches now. So so why not just make it a thing? It's a feature.
Or you can't shoot at all, so you just run around and melee everyone to death.
Yeah,
so,
we did that before.
Grenades
that
only.
Was longest elimination match I've ever been in my life was a melee only match we did. That took forever. You just saw a pile of Star Marines going thump, 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 pistol whipping people.
And there is one thing that was not in any of the official channels that I managed to catch on Twitter, which is they are working on the stealth animation knife kill.
Ooh.
The leader of animations was talking about how he
cool.
he posted this at 1 a.m. He was like, I've been working on stealth kill animations all day, and I'm now seeing all of my my employees as potential targets. I should probably take a break. I'm like, it's 1 a.m. and you're talking about working on animations. I have a hard problem streaming at 1 a.m.
Yeah,
let
you're
alone
actually doing something that's trying to make something look cool way early. So, yeah, absolutely. But
so that's a cool thing. So the knife stealth kills are hopefully a thing soon. So
absolutely, yeah. And I like how they went down and they're breaking it down. And I know they just did this to kind of fill the fact that they didn't have the 2.262 build or the 3.0 build in there, but it was nice they broke it down and kind of went down through the whole list of all the different network stuff, grenade UI indicators, all that stuff.
Ship balance,
cool. Yeah, it was pretty good. So we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens with all that. I'm pretty excited about it. But guys, if you're in the chat and you had any questions for the stream, be sure to go ahead and put !question in chat. I think Toy's been linking it in there for you. And just ask anything you'd like. You can ask TheAstroPub about his whole partnership. You can ask about what's going on in Star Citizen. You can ask about future features and our opinions on them. And everything, according to Xylo, will be 100% backed by CIG. So if it's not, just go ahead and just Discord him. He'll answer all your questions as a community manager.
Yeah.
He'll love it.
Specifically ask Xylo and tell him that Paul and Mitauchi sent you. That's exactly what you should do, because they'd love to hear that when they would. Those things. Yeah.
And I'll probably be boycotted from any future CIG events, but that's okay. That's okay. No, Xylo is really good at answer stuff. So yeah,
he is.
He's really good at it.
It's worth the boycott if you can troll Xylo, because Xylo is the ultimate troll. If you can troll the master, then you have become the master.
Yeah.
So
when last we met, I was but a student. Now I am the master. So good. All right.
I will say this. I do not want lightsabers in Star Citizen.
Yes.
there's people who talk about laser swords. I'm like, no lightsabers, please.
No laser swords.
It's cool, but
yeah, and preferably no chainsaws. If you can keep those two things out of my Star System, I'll be okay. I love both those items. Don't get me wrong, just not in Star System.
No. And the one thing I am looking forward to is some sort of Xian or Vanduul weapon that's just like a big pole arm or a big sword, so I can lean off of my my dragonfly and shout, "Get them get me closer so I can hit them with my sword." Just the concept of being able to hit ships with swords.
I would also love space zombies.
Zombies,
not my mod, but I would like actual space zombies in there.
I think were you on the table when we talked about that? How pretty much any kind of sci-fi trope you can think of will probably end up in the game at some point. Just because shit's hard to write.
Well, yeah, but I mean, every good space game takes elements from other games. I mean, look at Elite Dangerous, look at EVE Online, look at all this stuff. They all take elements of other games and other genres and universes and incorporate them in theirs. I mean, I would love to see a little bit of Firefly sprinkled in there, even if it was, instead of zombies, maybe it was like some sort of reaver, like diseased, plagued race of people or something. That would be awesome. I'd be so into that. Yeah. As long as you can type bodies on the outside of your ships, because I would love to disguise my ship as a reaver ship.
Just disguise, just hang the skulls of your enemies from your ship. That'd be a real pirate skin. That'd be a real skin. Just be like, I'm not messing with you. You actually had to. I know you actually had to get those skulls. Like that's not just like a cute little skin. You murdered people. And
you don't buy that at the spaceship truck stop. No, that's some real stuff. I would love to. I would pay $20 for that skin on some of my ships. Reaver skin. I would be all into that. But yeah, absolutely. So, not in the PU space. It's like a Star Marine zombie. I don't care about the Horde mode so much. If it's a Horde mode in Star Marine, it should be Vanduul. It should be constant flow of Vanduul coming at you. But
the one thing I will say about Star Marine that's really made me interesting is that Last Stand with the hacking system, I can imagine that being kind of almost a Horde mode in the PU. Like you get a mission where you have to go into a pirate base and hack their database to figure out
and you got to hold the position so long while they download the data.
They download it, and it may not even have an NPC doing it, or you may not even have a player doing it. You may have like a bot that's like floating around, just be like and like downloading it, and then you and your squad have to hold the position while you're like the dude in the whatever ship that brought you in is being chased around by pirates on the outside. You've got your fighters.
Pirates spawn, like 20 pirates spawn outside, and he's like, "I'm out of here, bro!" And it's like,
so, and I could see that with how they do with how it works right now with Last Stand. So it's one thing. It's been nice to see Star Marine and see how it could possibly even become part of the universe. Like you can see this as part of. It's not just its own little distinct thing. Yeah, it's something that you can see added to the universe to add to it. So
yeah, and honestly, the mode you just described, Last Stand, is a better title for that than what it currently is titled for, because what's titled for is actually a domination map where you hold positional stuff.
The old domination, it was the old domination map from the original Star Marine that was built a year ago. That they've completely removed.
And somehow they call it Last Stand, which I still don't understand why it's.
I heard it was a placeholder. It was just a placeholder that they never bothered changing because they didn't like.
Bugs the shit out of me. I don't know why.
But the name's going to get changed apparently, so I'm sure it'll be like.
I'm so scared of what they're going to call it though, because I think it's going to get worse. We'll find out.
like the famous. Oh God, what is it? Like they call it Squadron Battle and Battle Royale. It's like. Yeah. It's deathmatch and team deathmatch,
it's a battle royale with cheese. I don't understand what that is. It's like
and squadron battle. Oh yeah, we're linking up with squadrons and no, it's just 5 dudes fighting 5 dudes, or 5 people fighting 5 people in ships. Just there's nothing about squadroning.
Absolutely. All right, so we're gonna go to the questions, guys. We do have a giveaway for you tonight. We're gonna be doing a $10 gift card for Star Citizen for you. So. Go ahead and make sure you enter into that. You do have to be a follower of TheAstroPub and of my channel. We're not going to make you sub us both. We could, because we're both partners.
Yeah, that's right.
We're not going to do that.
We're both partners. And the funny part is that it's Mitauchi, myself, Board, and Gamble are the latest wave of partners for Star Citizen.
Word.
It's weird.
We should start. You're going to start calling it the partner table.
The partner table. I will have a partner table.
There you go.
And we'll just sit there with like monocles and top hats, and we'll just be like, it's so mugs. Good. Yeah, it's big good. Everyone has to have their big mugs. Every streamer has to have their big mugs.
It's back there behind the green screen, but it's
just be like, it's so good to be a partner. Let's talk about how being a partner is amazing.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah.
It's like F-star this, and we'll talk about the partnership and all the perks we get from Twitch on a regular basis. Twitch, I'm still waiting for my perks.
I was told there would be perks.
There's perks, right? Where's my jacket? No.
Oh God! Don't even start.
I know.
Oh, don't even start on that.
Oh my gosh! It's like, oh, we're all out of jackets. Sorry. It's like, oh, sorry. I just gave you 500 subs. I don't give a fucking jacket. Whatever. Anyway, questions. Let's go down here. It looks like we're going to start out, and they will all, when you guys type question in chat or Toy Zombies does it, it will appear in our question sections of Discord. So, Paul, you're welcome to look there too. We're going to start January 20th. It says, Mayonnaise015, my brother, says, with the reveal of alien languages, do you think we are getting closer to a Squadron 42 reveal? Paul, what do you think?
I'm just trying to find the latest one from today. Okay. Oh, yeah. For Squadron 42 reveal. Possibly. I mean,
would say
here's the thing.
Yes, but how close?
Here's the thing. We know that CIG is doing Gamescom and CitizenCon. Both of those are in Europe. I have a vague feeling, because they haven't talked about this, I have a vague feeling they'll probably end up at either PAX East or another event between, like, maybe DreamHack in Austin or something like that. And so we may see something before the summer, and if we do, it'll probably be Squadron 42 related, because of them is totally kicking the can down the road with their vertical slice and canning that. So
only 2 days away, and they canned it.
Yeah, I think what really it means is that they're almost done with the languages. And that doesn't necessarily mean that they're done with Squadron 42. It just means that they had nothing to say, and so they're like, now is the perfect time to talk about the languages. Yes.
Yeah.
It's interesting, and we have nothing else to show you.
Well, for those people that don't know, they had that video for the languages done last summer, if not in March, what Disco had said during last fall. He said they were just finding the right time to show it. So that's been done for a long time, well before Squadron 42 was even thought to be done. So I don't think it inherently means anything, but the one positive answer I can give you with that is every day we're closer to Squadron 42.
Yeah, I mean, let me put it this way. Squadron 42, the longer it takes Squadron 42 comes out, the better the game will be. We do know that the game has been playable in a certain state since 2015, I think is what they said. So the game has been a complete beginning to end game since 2015. It's just not been a complete asset game or content game. They've had the whole structures. They've had a long time to work the structure out, which hopefully means that the game won't be bad when it's released. The longer it takes, the better chance it's going to be good, as well as the more optimizations they get to make. So, that's the longer doesn't mean bad. Longer means better game. But at a certain point, you have a diminishing return on better game versus money, and so that's the balance they're gonna have to hit there.
Yeah, and I think we talked about this a little bit before too. No matter how good you make the game, or especially when it's a pseudo-realistic game, right? The better you make it look, there will always be something that looks better down the pipe. There will always be. So if you wait too long trying to make something look awesome, somebody will do it better, and hopefully not before you release what you have. So that's the thing you have to be careful of. And I think they're in this constant state of like insulating themselves from that by constantly trying to make things look better. I've noticed throughout the entire development cycle, that is a slippery slope. So I think it looks awesome. Hopefully they keep moving forward, and hopefully by next year or the year after when they're ready to release, they go, we need to redo everything because it doesn't look as good as I thought it did. 'Cause that could be bad. But every day we get closer to something, even if it's way far down the way. So every day we're closer. That's my motto. So let's see here. We are going to go with the next question, also by Mayonnaise. It says, what are you most looking forward to in Squadron 42 story, characters, cinematics, etc.? So what part of Squadron 42 interests you the most?
I think for me, probably the mission plots. Not the missions, not the story, not the plot, but the mission plots. Like, go here, do this.
What
this
tasks
happens,
we give you, and all
go
that.
there, and like because playing like Titanfall recently,
Yeah.
playing the single player campaign, there is a section which I still refuse to spoil for anybody who hasn't played it because that game has woefully undersold what it should have sold. There's a portion in that game which surprised me entirely. I was not expecting it at all from the game, and I had a blast with it. And it was because it was specifically a plot point for that mission. It was built specifically for that mission so they could mess around with something that you wouldn't be able to see otherwise. That worked fantastically. And I'm looking forward to stuff like they said, we're going to do stealth missions where you have to like get out of your ship and do a stealth mission in Squadron 42. And I'm like, I'm looking forward to doing a stealth mission and having to like solo knife kill every single like Vandul that's between
and use
me
that
and
animation he's making at 1 o'clock in the morning to accomplish it.
Yeah. And to get to like that one person who turns out to be the Emperor's daughter or something like that. And you have to like backpack carry her while fighting your way like hand-to-hand combat from this death pit to your ship and get out of there. Like the actual plots that push the gameplay, that kind of stuff. That's what I'm looking for, is those missions that make you go, holy shit, I can't believe they just wrote that. Like, did I really just do this? Was this actually a game that I played?
I am actually looking forward to all the plot points, all the story involved. I really want to get into the universe because they write such great fictional bits of the story and such great lore. I mean, everything's got so much like depth to it. And you can tell that by the lore team. I mean, they can still get excited about everything, you know? And I want that because I think that's one of the things that's going to build the hype to a pinnacle that's never been before. And Squadron 42 is going to bring that level where you have Gary Oldman, you got all these other big name actors in there, and then you have this great sweeping story and all these individual plots and how you fit into that mold with Mark Hamill and everybody else. I think that's just going to be like hype times 5,000. So I can't wait for that. I think that's going to be my favorite.
I was talking about being surreal earlier. I still think it's going to be surreal when you're sitting there and be like, that's Liam Cunningham.
Yeah.
He's the captain taking orders from Sir Davos. And it's not like before you've had that where like, oh, that kind of looks like Liam or like Liam Neeson, or that kind of looks like you know, this actor I've heard of from this third. He kind of looks like him, but it's not quite right. It's slightly modified, but it's based off him. So you're like, with the current graphics, it's like it's literally Liam Cunningham. It's like a Uncanny Valley Liam Cunningham, but it's literally him right there yelling at me. I feel like I'm on the set of some movie now suddenly. So that was the other thing that I'm looking forward to, is having those surreal moments. So
yeah, it's going to be crazy because you're going to see that kind of fidelity on actors in these models in there that are talking directly to you. So it's going to be interesting. I like the next question there. They went right after it. They said, in the pipe says, question for Paul. When are you registering the AstroPub Dream Team in the Star League?
Once all of the top 4 players that are currently listed in the leaderboards get back to me. That's
there you go.
I'm going to be the New York Yankees of the
might as well.
Why not? Of Star League, and just pay my way to winning. You know, that's how it works. Yeah, that
works. That's why
the best talent.
And that's why exactly like I'm not participating. We have a team for my org that's in there, but I'm not participating in it. So I definitely want to commentate. I want to oversee the thing. I think it's gonna be fun. Moon Elf says, "What do you think the radar adjustments are based on?" What do you think the radar adjustments are based on the video they showed?
I think he's saying, what are the radar adjustments based on the video they showed?
Oh, based on the video. Okay. I don't know. There was a good forum post I read on Reddit about somebody who wanted to make some adjustments to the radar and how they thought it should look. And I thought that they were entirely wrong. And I'm kind of happy with the radar where it is. I would like maybe some, like you could scroll through different colors on it if I wanted to. Different highlights.
I honestly
like it.
I think the range is too high. I think that's one of the big problems.
I think it should be based on your suit.
And I believe that too. Yeah. I'm also one of those firm believers that a radar should be a
feature.
add-on, a feature.
Yeah.
It's not in every suit,
Piece of
it's not in
equipment.
every helmet. It's a piece of equipment that you have to purchase and install.
And maybe you
some-
give up a med pack or a grenade slot for that.
or
you know,
like
paying
you
that.
can't use like the portable shields or the holographics projection or whatever.
Yep.
Like there's something you have to give up for doing that. Because I like that trade-off because it gives you a better idea, but it also forces team play because you can be like, all right, so we're gonna have, XXX rando.
I think
XXX
the radar is too
going
sensitive
to,
now. Like,
It is.
if you're squatting and you walk a few steps, you appear on radar.
Yeah, and that's the thing is that I think that's part of what they're actually doing though with that is I think that's what they're doing is they're decreasing sensitivity so you can't see it if someone is running like across the map towards you but like way away, you can pick them up from across the map. I think they're adjusting it so you won't necessarily see it from across the map anymore.
Yeah.
But as they get closer and closer, if they're running or they're walking fast, then you'll see them. But if you're crouched,
because right now, I think if I'm not mistaken, they have it sunk up to where if your teammate hears or sees them, it appears on your radar too. And I still want that. I want if me and Paul are on a team, and his sensors, because we're in the same squad, illustrate that somebody's there. I think it should be a group linked radar system. But if they turn down the sensitivity, I might see somebody coming up on Paul. He's engaged with somebody else. I'm like, all right, you got one behind you, Paul. I would like something like that.
Or Battlefield, maybe, where you actually have to tag them. I like the tag system.
I'm still tagging everybody. I don't want to admit that, but I'm still running around tapping Q
tagging,
all
hitting
the
the
time.
tag.
I'm like, why am I trying to spot this motherfucker? I don't know.
Yeah.
But I do it out of habit now, so everybody gets cued. That way.
Yeah, no, and I actually like that idea as well. I think the one thing they talked about this before, it was at one point in the build where you could actually radar pulse with your character, and it would pulse out, and then in this like big wave of like you could see it as it pulsed out from your HUD. That would be an interesting kind of technique where if you'd have to pulse every couple of seconds as well to be able to keep the radar active because you have active and passive, so you can go further out with more sensitive pulse, but everyone can see that you just pulsed out and they can see where you are on the map, like active and passive sonar, because that's something they've messed around with at the very least with one of the builds. So absolutely. I don't know. We'll probably see something. More than likely they're not making the stuff more sensitive. I think, but from what we've seen,
God, if they're more sensitive, it might as well be always on radar. Then there's no point because it's about like that now.
Yeah.
Let's see where was it? Oh yeah, Mod Max. Thank you for the sub in the stream. So that note put in there too. Thank you, buddy. Appreciate that. What is adjustment shown? Rilo asked the same question that we already had earlier. Do you think the alien language we're getting closer to Squadron to reveal? Yeah, we already answered that one. Matter of fact, that's funny. Rilo asked the exact same question, almost worded the exact same way as Mayonnaise.
Same way,
almost perfectly. You guys are the same person. I know it's a clone. What benefits do you think citizenship will grant? So if you get citizenship from Squadron 42 completing the campaign, what do you think? Because I know they mentioned some stuff like possibility of getting a ship, or at least in your backstory you'll have some military rank, maybe start out with a little extra money from your, doing that stuff. What do you think those or other perks or other things you might get from completing Squadron 42?
Probably just reputation. I mean, and don't underestimate reputation, because reputation means if you start off with a high reputation with the UEE, you're probably going to get a mission from the UEE versus when you don't. And I'm sure you'll see on the procedurally generated stuff, required reputation with faction is X for you to be able to take this mission. And because that's what they did in Elite Dangerous. I've seen it before in other games as well, where with a reputation, you have to have a certain amount of reputation.
Yeah, to talk to agents or whatever, the mission givers.
And they may not actually have a number. It'll just say your reputation isn't high enough to get this mission, or just won't show up on your screen because they won't let you see it, because CIG hates that like gamification. They want that immersion.
Absolutely.
So
but reputation is like so huge, and I've gone on whole tirades about this in my stream, because it's the only thing in the entire game that's a penalty, right? Because when you die, when you finally create your final death, and the only thing you really lose, besides some money, obviously, is your reputation. right? When you have to pass on the error gets a portion of your reputation that you already had, but that's the penalty marker. And if they don't make reputation meaningful in Star Citizen, like really meaningful, like you lose a quarter rep when you die or something like that, something where you could gain or lose access, then dying won't matter, and you'll see griefers just go to town, baby, because they won't care.
There's two things that I think that I think that people are underestimating right now. Like right now, it's really easy to die and just respawn and get a new ship because there is no penalties for it.
Yep.
However, once you die and the death costs you, you have to pay your medical fees to be able to get up. And if you don't have any money and you die, then you get a debt that you have to pay back or something like that.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff is what they've been planning, and we just haven't seen it implemented. Once that gets implemented, once every death that you die, every time you die, you get revived, you actually cost more and more money because you're losing more and more of your health bar, kind of your internal health bar.
Yeah.
That will start discouraging people from just YOLO swagging it.
Ship respawn times, like longer and longer for the more expensive ships.
And your insurance company is like, you literally blew up this Aurora 2 hours ago, and you're getting a new one. I'm sorry. We're gonna slow you. We're gonna hit the brakes there, buddy.
Slow you
and see
down,
what's going
or
on
charge
here.
you a higher dedeductible each time you died. Like if you're just gonna run in the same area, and we see you got in another catastrophic accident over here in the YOLO system, you're gonna end up having some problems there on that whole thing.
Because I've been doing a lot of that. I've been like focusing on trying to play the game like it would be in 3.0 right now. And the one thing that I can say is shit's expensive, yo. Like missiles and ammo and repairs and fuel, that adds up real quick. And if you try to get the best meta loadouts with missions, you can lose money. Like you make maybe 500 credits per return for the best missions you can get. So I've learned ways of getting around that and still being able to make money. But as a result, I'm much more careful. I'm focused more on things like, hey, I'm going to go to Korea and see if I can't do some more missions, do non-combat missions for a little bit so I can get enough money. So if I screw up and die, I have a chance to earn some more money. So there's definitely going to be gameplay, which you don't see right now, which will start being encouraged in the game a little bit further on. So things like being more careful, not being a troll. But reputation specifically, I think, is going to be the major one, because I play a game called Life is Feudal. And in that, as you progress, as you do things in game, you progress in points, in skill points, and those skill points eventually add up to letting you unlock more and more things. And in Star Citizen, that is the same subject. It's just reputation. As you do more missions for this faction, you get more reputation, which gets you better missions, which gets you more money, which gets you more reputation. And then at a certain point, it'll plateau. And then in order to get the highest level of reputation with them, you're going to have to grind. And as you die, that reputation is going to drop. And as you die and your reputation drops, meta 5 points of reputation that took you 4 days to get is now gone. So I think that's the big thing, is that when you're starting out, reputation will be okay and it'll matter, but it won't matter as much because it'll be easier to return. But as you go along and you get the high reputations and you get the better missions, death will start stinging a lot more. And that's a good way of balancing it, because you can still screw up as a newbie and not lose everything. So
that would be a good way to manage it for sure. So hopefully it works out that way. And I just hope they make, like I said, reputation actual meaningful. So that would be really good. All right, let's see what else we got. Any opinion on how SC should implement planetary landing, manual forgiving approach, or more calculated vectors like Eve? You can't land in Eve.
I think he's talking about in the stations. But I think you even manually land in the stations, don't you?
Well, you pull up to them, you just hit go in, and it just pulls you inside the station. There's not a...
Yeah.
You can't, destroy your ship on the side of a station.
I think he's talking about Elite. He's talking about Elite, where you actually
have to have a glide
path.
That makes sense. Elite, I was like, in Eve. I was like, what?
In Elite, you have to have a glide path at a certain angle in order to land. Otherwise, you'll bounce out. And so... I don't know. What do you think?
I like the landing modes they have now. I mean, and I think you're going to be able to choose zones on planetary surfaces just like that. You'll come in, it'll say like section, because you're not going to be able to land everywhere. This is something that a lot of people don't realize. Maybe some moons and stuff you'll be able to, but they're going to purposely make atmospheric conditions to where you could go there, but you can't land there, much like what we saw in the demo, because they want you to travel around. They want you to have to use bikes and rovers and vehicles of that. So there's going to be large areas to land, but you can't just pull anywhere, I don't think.
To get a good example, is Microtech is a giant frozen wasteland, and there may be more frozen up, in certain the poles rather than in the midlands or whatever.
Yeah.
But there'll be places where it's going to be like, there's a storm here. And it won't just be, hey, atmospheric conditions are dangerous. It's like, you can see the storm.
Yeah,
and if you try to fly through it,
there, bro.
and you will die if you fly through that. So, yeah, you can land pretty much anywhere, but the game's going to be like, you shouldn't.
Yeah, probably shouldn't mulligan your ship here, bro.
Yeah, let's take this the rational, reasonable way. I've just given you the giant warning of death, and please don't ignore it. So yeah, you'll still be able to technically land anywhere, but there'll still be stuff that forces you to stop. So as a result, I think what we have now is essentially what we're going to get. You fly down. You may have vectors in the sense that, like, if you're going into ArcCore, you're going to get, hey, stay on this vector. If you even try to deviate from this vector, we're going to blow you out of the sky.
Yeah, because those have actual building civilian areas. But I think you'll get a lot like you have at Korea. You'll have pads or patches of ground you can land on, or you can manually land and just take your chances. It's up to you. But, I'll hold in and just land because I want my spaceship to actually be there. So
yeah, and the other advantage of landing in in a station rather than outside of a station is that if you land in a station, more than likely your ship will be saved in some sort of way, shape, or form, and it won't be able to be fucked with. But if you land outside of a station and then walk into a station, that ship is still persistent where you left it. So anyone who has the ability to hack it and unlock it. Oh, that's the other thing that's added in 3.0 is lockable ships.
There you go. See, there's always more. I'm telling you, there's always more. Yeah, that's good. All right, so Cade, we got a lot of questions piling up now.
Okay.
Cade did have something he wants you to watch. He's talking about your helmet starred in some video or something. So there you go.
That's cool. Yeah, I have to watch it later.
Yeah, it's linked in there. You can check it out later.
It's becoming like chair.
I actually found your helmet while I was looking for a Halloween costume. It's pretty available out there if you want to get one.
It is.
So it's very available.
If you want your own.
Do you think SC will join the ranks of the greatest sci-fi franchises? Oh, absolutely not. It's going to suck balls, and that's why
scam. Jump
total
out right
scam,
now.
vaporware. That's why we spent $14,000 on it last year in giveaways. So we're just trying to actually pit Chris Roberts' kids through school. So it's just one of those things. So just suck it up.
A giant crowdfunding campaign for his kids. Yeah.
Yeah. Suck it. Obviously, I think we believe in it, or we wouldn't be dedicating this kind of time and energy and all that stuff to it. So I think that's kind of a.
I think we'll see. Like if they do it well, like if the Squadron 42 mission games, and then the games that they do, the other single player games they're planning on doing after Squadron 42, if they all do well and there's some like innovations and cool things we haven't seen in space games before and they're fun, yeah, I mean, I think it hands down will. It's got the lore, it's got the background, it's got the technology, it's got the unique like visual aesthetics.
Yeah. I mean, the systems alone they're building to support the game are going to be sold in themselves, so it's going to be successful. Whether it'll be the best story that we've ever played in sci-fi, we'll have to wait and see.
And that's the thing, is that's what makes a great sci-fi series. Like Freelancer, no one remembers because Freelancer wasn't a very engaging or compelling story. People remember
mechanics in it, in it, but it was a boring ass story in Freelancer.
The reason why people like Eve is not because of the stories necessarily in the Eve universe, but because of the stories that the players forced to happen in the Eve universe. Whereas like a game like Wing Commander, people remember Wing Commander because it was a story. Mass Effect, people like know that universe really well because the stories behind it.
Wing Commander had a great story, I'd even venture not so even great a story with Wing Commander, but great characters.
Yeah,
the characters in Wing Commander are what made that stand apart, I think, than more than anything. And EVE Online, the stories and missions in there are the worst missions I have ever played for any game in my life. But the player dynamics are amazing. So the key is to become a very big science fiction universe is the
characters and the story and the backdrop that's everything set in. That's the key. It's not all this other kind of mechanics and stuff like that. So we'll see if the story works well in the universe. So
absolutely. All right, we're gonna go through these a little quicker so that way we can get through this. Let's see. So Zeus says, do you think 3.0 being so massive, it could take 6+ months? And what do we know with 2.6.1? Do you think they should have 2.6.2 or move some features from 3.0 to 2.6.1? So should they shift stuff around, or what should they do with that?
They've talked about that.
I think
like
they
a little bit. Yeah. I think 2.6.2 is not just going to be the mega map. And if it is, then it means that they're closer to 3.0 than we think. But if it's not, then we'll see 2.6.2 with more players, for instance, or possibly item 2.0 being implemented. There's a lot of things that are separate on their own, which could end up in a they don't necessarily need to have everything ready for 3.0 to be put in there. So yeah, I think we'll probably see that.
I would look at 3.0 as it's basically a huge expansion of the game, guys. I mean, it's really the elements that they'll move to 2.62 will be stuff that they want to test before they drop 3.0. We don't know what that'll be though.
And this was brought up that I never even thought about before, is that 3.0 is going to be the biggest patch the CIG has ever released, and it will ever release, because this is the first time we will have entire planetary system with landable planets and, cargo. This is the first time they will have done anything like this. Everything from now on is easy. Comparatively.
And it's where we'll get the patcher, right? The new Delta patcher. So even literally, it'll be the biggest patch we get, because after that, we'll get incremental patches that are much smaller. So hopefully be the last of the 30 or 40 gig downloads we ever have to do. Will be 3.0. So.
But like that's the thing, is that's the reason why it might take 6, 7, 8 months, is because the difference between 3.0 and 3.1 is mechanics, not massive system shattering worlds that need to be optimized and are going to be buggy and all. Like 3.1 is like salvage and mining, I think, or mining and salvage by hand tools, and that's it. That's a little easier to do than I'm going to make all of Crusader and you can enter the atmosphere at any point. Absolutely. Like that's a little bit more system intensive and figuring out how that works and testing all that. Then I can go to an asteroid and put my mining laser next to it.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's I think that's the key that's being hung up on that a lot of people haven't really kind of beared down on, is that 3.0 is much bigger, and even 4.0 is not going to be nearly as big, because it's just going to take what 3.0 already has and then expand it out to other systems, because it's just more systems is all that 4.0 is. So this is going to be the biggest patch, literally and figuratively, in Star Citizen before the launch.
There you go. In the Pipe asks, episode 1 is set before the PU time-wise, I believe.
I think it's 2942.
Yeah. Will episode 2 or 3 also be, or do you think it might tie player-driven PU content into either episode? That's a good question. I think they're all set before, though, where you're at. I think all 3 episodes are actually staged before where you're at. But that would be interesting. I do think they do plan on doing things that will eventually tie into it. But at least the first 3 episodes are all set to build you up to the timeline. So that way, if you're a new player and you only play episode 1, you jump into the timeline, whatever. If you play episode 2, you'll still be going 1, 2, and then jump into the timeline, and so on and so forth. I don't think they have any of the episodes planned, and I'm not sure about this, but I don't think they have any of the 3 episodes that they have planned for the single-player campaign that happen during or after our current time frame in the PU.
No, it's also supposed to take place beforehand.
Yeah.
And you got to remember that episode 1, 2, and 3 was the original Squadron 42 full. Those were the full script. It was all written as one script between the 3. And then what happened was they realized this script was massive, and there was no way they could do all 3 of those scripts. They're like this huge script in one take. And then they said, okay, we'll break it up into episode 1, 2, and 3. Now the problem about doing that is now they can be like, well, it's because they're all full games. We can now charge you extra.
Yeah,
which
but
is
they've
shitty.
fleshed them out to be full games with the actors and everything. I mean, it's gotten way bigger. So
it's gotten way bigger and it's got way more intensive. So as a result, it really is worth the price. And especially if you purchased it when people like I don't know when you exactly backed it. Were you a golden ticket backer or like
no? I think mine was actually only end of 2014, beginning of 2015. So I was like there. Just,
you're with me. I'm technically a new backer because I backed right when the Hanger module came out in like 2013. Yeah. So
Hanger module was out. Yeah, I was. Yeah.
But you and I have been here for several years now. We know like we got the deals. Like we got Squad 42 and Star Citizen for $30. You know, when we jumped in, that was so we got $15 for 2 games. So that's not as bad as us as future players. But at the end of the day, it was so big they had to break it up. So the story has to be the same. It has to be all one story that they had. They physically say, okay, we're going to break this up. We're going to break this up so we can have 3 games.
Not exactly necessarily the same exact characters, but it follows the same path and story timeline wise within the universe.
And you're playing the same character throughout the universe. So you play the same protagonist.
Yep. All right. Next questions. Let's see here. Totally lost my place there. Oh, there it is. NVIDIA 101 wants to know what system will the mining station from Squadron 42 episode 1 be in?
Vega, I believe.
I think it's Vega. One.
No, but all of Squadron 42 takes place in a single system.
Yeah. But as far as the PU goes, the PU's not going to... PU all the way up to beta and maybe even beyond is going to look different than what it will be at launch because they're going to mush stuff into the single solar system we have in the persistent universe and then put stuff in the right places. They develop the entire universe area instead of just one solar system.
And one solar system is still going to be massive. Like even playing the game Squadron 42 in a single solar system is going to feel like a huge endeavor. You know, you ever played Kerbal Space Program? It's similar to that. Like it's going from a planet.
I watched you guys play so much that I watched you and Bad News Baron and everybody else play that I never bought it, if you can believe that. But I watched so much of it. I was like, I felt like I played it all.
Yeah, I mean it's just, I mean I've barely gotten out of the Kerbal system in that game, and that's just the moon systems in the planet, and feels like it takes forever. So I can imagine Squadron 42, if you're on a planet and your mission takes you to a moon, that could take you a mission like that could take an hour. Just going and having battles on the way to the moon, moon, and then going around the moon and coming back. And so it's going to feel like a huge mission, the huge world, even though it's only one small universe.
Yeah. Do you think the grenade indicator will be more geared towards protecting the person that threw it from themselves nading rather than showing up to everyone? No, I think if they say there's an indicator, it's going to be, hey guys, there's a grenade over here. Please don't step on it, which I hate. That's what I think it'll be.
Yeah. And I like
go ahead.
So. No, I was going to say the same thing. Like, I don't like it. I don't think anyone in the universe really wants it, and I don't think anyone who plays Star Marine a lot was like, yeah, we wanted a grenade indicator. It's like, no.
I'm sure there's somebody who dies to a lot of grenades, and it's probably due to like some of us suiciding them with grenades all the time, but that's okay. We'll see how terrible it is, and then they'll ask to take it out. Cade says, which ship, assuming the Banu Merchantman no longer exists, would Paul consider as a home for the AstroPub? So if you couldn't choose the Banu,
I already did that. It's the Caterpillar.
There you go.
Yeah, because I knew that already because I bought the Caterpillar because I knew that the Banu would take forever. I actually was anticipating the Banu would never come out until after the game had launched. And so I figured if I need to have something in between then. So I got the Caterpillar because A, it's long. B, it's got like 4 modules on it, and they're all going to be swap-outable. CIG, please. Bar module. Give me a bar module.
Well, Night Demos, in the future, these are future grenades too, so they'd have cloaking text, so you couldn't detect them. Exactly. So I can counter your future argument, sir, with my future argument. So my future stuff will counter your future stuff. So how about them apples?
And they'll do it because of gel layer.
There you go.
Just space magic. But no, Caterpillar. So hopefully.
Zudoxa says, was it indicated when Spectrum gets launched, would we get VoIP in the game at the same time? It depends how you define Spectrum launch. They're gonna roll it out to us in iterations, just like we get in Star Citizen.
I believe 2.6.1 is going to be the first launch of Spectrum. So when we get 2.6.1, we'll have to download the new patcher, which will be Spectrum, and then we'll launch the game from Spectrum.
Yeah.
So that's how 2.6.1 is going to happen. And they said that VoIP isn't coming until 3.0.
I think they're PTU testing, or they're about to Spectrum now again.
So they've already but they've already PTU tested Spectrum.
Yeah.
But it's just a page. Okay. It's just a web page right now. Yeah. But in the future, that web page will be its own launcher.
Yeah.
Because the launcher is Spectrum.
Cade also wants to know, is Paul planning on hiring Overwatch as a PMC for the pub?
Overwatch? I don't know.
I think that's my word.
Is this your group? Yeah, possibly. Yeah. I mean,
possibly. We'll see what happens between now and then. We have negotiations we have to do over
mini drinks.
Mini drinks and negotiations.
Drinks will be had, and volunteers with shotguns will be needed, because my always thought in the pub was that there's never going to be causing any trouble, because there's always going to be someone at the door checking your guns, and if you refuse to check your guns, I'm just going to shoot you on sight. Like, you walk up and I'm like, check your guns. They're like, no, you get shot. Everyone now checks your guns, because if you show up without checking your guns,
and in the back of the pub, he's going to sell your guns back to other people, because that's the gun shop.
That's the drugs.
That's the drugs. Oh, sorry.
The front is the basement is the guns. The backside is where you get all the drugs.
Well, you get modules right now. You can do all sorts.
Exactly.
That's a section. It's like, go to module 2 if you want your weapons.
And then on top is where we have the fight club, where you have an argument, you have to go out of the pub onto the fight club, and it's like Thunderdome. 2 men enter, 1 man leave. So
you have somebody sit in the front turret. So if they get out rowdy, it's like, no, you're cheating. Just kill them all. Perfect. Are Paul's headphone as comfortable as they look?
They are.
And rate the bass from 1 to 11.
Okay, rate the bass, like the bass radio.
Well,
the bass. No. Oh, the bass. Bass in the ears. I will say, I'm going to shill for a moment. Mm-hmm. These are Razer. I can't remember the full names of them, like the actual product names, but it's their only wireless headphone brand, and they are fantastically comfortable, and they're wireless, pretty significant difference or distance. And they have smart technology where if there's no sound coming through within 15 minutes, it'll actually turn itself off to save battery. So I would say in the bass, I could blast these bad boys so they can become essentially speakers, and 11 to 12. It goes all the way up to 12. Kind of.
There you go.
So, and even this is a pretty good microphone overall. So, the basement is a good place to put drugs. Hi, Hype Beast.
Yeah. Usually keeping them in the basement's good, but unfortunately his spaceship doesn't have a basement. So
I don't have a basement. Yeah.
He doesn't have one. That would be the ejection area. So where he ejects the drugs.
Space drugs.
When he gets space search. What's going on, Hype Beast? All right, couple more here. Let's see. What's the next one? My question deals with the Squadron 42 spoilers. I don't remember seeing these scenes. Did Matthew leave CIG? I guess there's an animation thing.
Look at this real quick.
Yeah. Let's see if I can. We'll bring it up.
These are old, very old. These are interiors and animations from the Idris. And then some animations with the old pirate helmets and stuff.
Well,
this might even be. Is this official?
No.
This is Trellian.
This is Trellian stuff. He's not part of CIG. This is him. What he does for his production studio stuff, just simulating some of the stuff there in the scenes. It's all that he. Yeah.
And don't be afraid, because. His stuff, he's actually has applied to work for CIG with his skill. So this is, I was to say, a lot of this stuff looks old. And I looked at it and I'm like, wait, I've recognized this before. And then I looked up and it said Trellian, Trellian, who, by the way, will be on the captain's table this Saturday. So because we've got an all Aussie cast. So it's Trellian. That's Trellian's work. He's if you like his stuff, go watch him. It's Combined Arms. Episode 1's already out, and episode 2
he's working on 2. Yeah, right now he's getting it wrapped up and all that. Yeah, this is all from that. So yeah, I can see absolutely because he does a very good quality work of why you would think that was, CIG stuff. But no, he actually did that not only, to help promote his channel and he loves Star Citizen, but he would very much be interested in any job offers from CIG to go work for him. Yeah, so he's pretty hyped about that. We'd love it. And then Cade's very final question and last question we have is how much is it going to cost me to have the AstroPub come to my hangar for private events?
Negotiations are open.
You
You can pay me in either actual credits or in, alien slaves. No, we don't do slaves.
Space babies.
Space drugs. Giant sandworms because I need that spice.
Absolutely.
The spice. Who he controls the spice controls the universe, or whatever it was. So
something of that nature.
Yeah.
All right, guys, and that's the last question we got. We're going to get ready to draw this raffle real quick. I would love... Aren't they doing another remake of Dune again, I heard?
Mm-hmm. They're doing another remake of Dune.
I hope it works good. I hope it does. TV series wasn't bad. The little miniseries they did. Okay.
I liked it. It's corny and it was low budget, but it wasn't bad.
The original's still so good, but compared to everything else, I don't care if it looks like crap over that.
And it was so bad, but it was so good, but so bad.
Yeah, absolutely.
Fear's the mind killer.
The shields were like terrible. Those body shields they had were square blocks.
Yeah.
But the fact they had bullets that would drill into the shields and kill people, I was like, that's amazing. It's like, so special effects sucked, but it was still awesome. Sandworms rule. Anyway, let's go ahead. We're getting ready to, if you haven't entered yet, guys, squeeze in there. We're going to close this puppy down. We'll give you a couple more minutes in there.
I'll say, and as always, Twitch does not endorse or back any of these giveaways.
Nope.
It is all done out of
no Twitch, no CIG backing either in this case. This is all provided by yours truly, Mitauchi Entertainment and Space Bros. Thank you so much, guys. So we are going to give away this $10 gift card, and I'm going to go ahead and close it down because a couple people got to sneak in there. And remember, you do have to be a follower of both myself and the AstroPub, guys. So we are going to check over there as well, if I remember how to do that, or I'll just have to have Paul do it himself. And we are going to do that here in 3, 2. Everybody's running over there following you real quick.
Do it. Yeah.
It says the winner is Hillmouse.
Hillmouse. Let me see if he's following. It would make more sense if I actually typed in the. Here, I'll do this instead. I'll actually pull up my bot so that he has a chance, that couple second chance to actually follow if he has a chance, if he can.
Yeah, I would show you the screen, but Toy Grubbin broke it by making himself win, so that's why I'm not showing it.
It's Toy. He's a terrible mod. I know that. I had the opportunity of hanging out with him for the entirety of CitizenCon, and yeah, just a little bit. Let's see. Okay, you said his Toy Mouse is the name?
It's Hillmouse.
Hillmouse.
Oh, Hillmouse.
Yeah, it's like stuck on the screen. Shows you as the winner on their Toy the whole time.
Sorry.
Yeah. So that is when he plays with the buttons.
Toy wins all raffles, right?
Apparently, that's what.
Hillmouse is following. He actually joined in December 18th of this year. So, congratulations, Hillmouse.
Yeah, congrats, bro. So we will go ahead and send him a quick Twitch message, traditionally like we do, for my super record keeping. And he has won his $10 gift card. So congrats to that.
Congratulations.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. If I don't do it right now, I'll forget. And voila. And any misspellings, deal with it. Anyway, again, Paul, thank you so much for being on tonight. I really do appreciate it, man. I wish you many, many, many more subs and a good time down at PAX South. It's coming right up.
It's going to be fun. Yeah. I actually get to see Hype Beast. He said he's going to be there too. So.
Nice.
Yeah,
Nice. Hopefully I'll be able to go to one of these one time. I know East is sold out, so I won't be traveling over there to do that.
Maybe you can do that. You can do that maybe West, where you sneak in at the last 5 seconds or whatever.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, like bloop, what's up? But no, my big goal this year is to make it to Germany for CitizenCon. So we're gonna try to do that. I got my passport thing situated, so it's all mailed off. So hopefully we'll be doing that, and that'd be fun. It'd be the first time I ever left the country, so that'd be kind of interesting and different.
yeah.
But we'll see what happens with all that. But anyway, thank you again for being here, brother. We
Thank
are
you.
going to go ahead and outrow for a little bit. I'm going to be streaming a little bit after the show, guys, so we'll play some Star Marine if you're interested. So hang out. But otherwise,
I will probably be joining him because I also have to stream after the show.
oh well,
Yeah,
maybe
so.
maybe we'll do a multi-Twitch for a little
Yeah.
bit because I'm not going to stream real long time, but we'll do some of that. But we're going to take a short break, guys. Tune back in. We'll put up a multi-Twitch, and we'll finally get to play together some Star Marine. So, see everybody later, man. Have a good one.
See you, Space Bros.